right, y'all. It's Mindset Monday. It's December 1st, y'all. We got what? We ain't got but about 30. We got 31 days left in 2025. And it is time for us to get our minds together and get ourselves in a position where we're going to call in wealth, call in increase, call in overflow into our lives. But this Mindset Monday is a little bit different. This one is about the power of silence. The power of silence, because they're not listening, because you're not supposed to be talking to them. I'll say it again. Your silence holds power. Because a lot of times you be feeling like, oh, it's a broken record. And this was one of my mama's favorites. The more I try to teach you, the dumber I get. The more I try to teach you, the dumber I get. Because they're not listening, because you're not supposed to be talking to them. Some of you are frustrated because people don't hear you. But the truth is, they're not listening because you're not supposed to be having any types of conversations with them. I know I had to let go some relationships that I had from my childhood all through my adulthood, because when I would get on the phone with this person, it was always a one-sided conversation. Oh, they tell me dump all their problems, all their scandal, all the nonsense into me. If I say anything about me, they would revert the conversation back to them. And then I realized this is somebody got to go out my life. The reason why this person doesn't listen to me, because I'm not supposed to be talking to them. I want y'all to understand, your voice is not the problem. And your wisdom is not the problem. Your value is not the problem. You're giving diamonds to people who prefer dust. You're giving your wisdom to people who didn't even ask for the elevation. That's the reason why sometimes when you're opening your mouth, you're not seeing any results. How many times you had that friend, you done told them, oh no, you don't need to do that, girl, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. You done tried to warn them. And then the thing that happened, I know you about to say, I told you so. No, I was just trying to warn you. But you was wasting your wisdom on somebody who didn't want to be elevated, on somebody who was going to do whatever they wanted to do. So the moral of your silence is you need to stop pouring into places that's not designed to receive you. See, sometimes you got to look at the room and you will know if this is for you. How many times you done walked in a room and you be like, oh, something ain't right. The vibe is off, because you in a room that you ain't supposed to be in. And God be whispering, be quiet. You're wasting your breath. This is the wrong audience. Silence is not weakness. Silence is a strategy. Silence is elevation. Also, sometimes silence is protection. Why do I say that? And I know this is going to piss some women off. It's a lot of women whose head has been knocked between the washer and dryer, all because they would not shut their mouth. You can't talk about that that man, mama, his children, and the size of his penis, and you can't be saying all of that. And then when you get your head knocked between the washer and the dryer, all you had to do was be quiet, get your exit strategy together, use him, pack up, stack your money, don't say not one word, and then when he come home, the whole house empty. If you see, that's how the women who be quiet and strategic, they sit back and they say absolutely nothing. They build their bread up and then they leave. That is a silence strategist. Sometimes, y'all, your silence speaks louder than your words. I'll say it again. Sometimes your silence speaks louder than your words. Your absence will teach people what your presence never could. Your quiet reveals truth faster than a debate ever will. My mama taught me this one. My mama said, do in a altercation, never raise your voice. And I was like, huh? She said, a person can't hear you when you're screaming and yelling because their first reaction is the what? Start screaming and yelling back. So now they can't hear nothing you got to say. So I always stay calm in the altercation. And I was like, and when I thought about it, she was like that. I'll never forget. We was in Riches, downtown Atlanta, and I wanted, she was like, I'm gonna buy you 4 dresses, and I wanted 5. And because she wasn't gonna get me that 5th dress, I decided I want to fall out in Riches, downtown Atlanta. She grabbed me up by my clothes and had me between the rounders. She had opened up them rounders and she had me in there. And she said, if you don't shut your goddamn mouth, I'm gonna beat your ass up in here. And I was like, I just started crying. And then the people around me, they looking like, what is the, because she was so smooth and she had said exactly what she meant. Yes, I had got cussed out, but to the naked eye, she was the sweetest, most beautiful woman in the whole Riches. Because when you start screaming and yelling, then automatically your words have no value. Nobody's listening. So sometimes it's most powerful, your most powerful sentence is the ones that you never speak. Sometimes it's just better to be quiet. Also, and I'm finding this a lot because I have been basking in peace. Everybody was like, what do you do for the Thanksgiving? I cook my food. I mind my business. I didn't do anything. I did hang out over the weekend. Me and my cousin did hang out Black Friday and this weekend. And we ate all the dressing. We done watched all the movies. We done had us a good time. We've been watching Bel Air and having us a good time. But that's another thing. But silence protects your peace. Your peace is too expensive for you to spend it on everyone. Also, silence will help you block the chaos, confusion, manipulation, because a lot of people will try to manipulate you. But when you're quiet, you're able to see things really, really clear. It also voids you of emotional clutter. So sometimes you can use quiet as a chill. Stillness is your sanctuary. So being quiet is like VIP benefits. It's like being in the Delta Sky Lounges where you over there, you just first class. Also, silence allows you to hear. A lot of times when you run in your trap and you got all of the stuff, you can't even hear God's voice clearly because you're too busy running your freaking trap. At some point, you need to understand, does God speak to you directly? Yes, but God speaks to people. A lot of times y'all don't understand. You know how you be in a conversation and people trying to talk to you and you over talking everybody and you done cut folk off and all of that. Y'all, when you making all that dang on noise and doing all that talking, you're doing the same thing. You cutting God off. He can't even whisper your blessings. He can't even whisper the next direction in your ear because you're too busy talking. You too busy giving up energy and time to somebody else instead of just being quiet and staying silent and say, God, I invite your voice into my home. God, show me what to do next. Also, a lot of times your silence helps you hear the tone of the people that don't mean you well. What does that mean? A lot of times people say stuff to you that is awful and you'll say, oh, well, maybe she didn't mean. I've watched people even make an excuse, especially to a no good man, especially for a no good man. Oh, well, I mean, he didn't mean to black my eye. I mean, he didn't mean to cheat on me. He didn't mean to get a back. What? Is you okay? Girl, you need to use your copay. Anyway, you cannot hear the motives too behind people's actions. If you always talking and you not paying attention, oh, closing your mouth, opening your ears and opening your eyes, because we've all know that if somebody loses one of their senses, it heightens and make the other ones more keen. It's the same concept. If you close your mouth and open your ears and your eyes, you're going to be able to hear better. You're going to be able to see better. Even though my son be talking that trash, talking about your eye doctor is a liar. And I was like, how you gonna call my eye doctor a liar? Oh, because every time I do something, you seem to manage to have 20/20 vision. Your ear doctor is a liar because when I'm doing something, then all of a sudden you got dog hearing. No, because I'm able to see all your stuff because I just be quiet and I'm paying attention, boy. That's why I can see your nonsense. And that's why I can hear when you own some nonsense. And I can tell you, you need to get your vehicle back in the road. You're swerving, son. You're swerving. You need to sit in quiet and stillness so that you can hear and own your inner voice. The one that you've been avoiding a lot of times because your inner voice, a lot of times y'all don't understand your inner voice is also the voice of God. How many times your gut, because we call it our gut, that you don't need to go over there. And then you went and then all hell broke loose. Because you didn't want to hear your inner voice try to protect you. You want to be insubordinate. Oh, you want to go and just run the red light and keep going. Then you get mad when you crash out. Because you did not be quiet and listen. And a lot of times, a lot of women who like to talk and gossip and run your mouth and da 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 is because your inner voice scares you. It scares you because it means you got to do better. You got to make better choices. So a lot of times you got to leave that situation. You got to stop making excuses. You deserve happiness, and you're when you're hiding behind fear. A lot of times your inner voice is telling you, "Oh, I got to stop trying to be scared of something that really is not something I'm supposed to be fearful of." But instead of obeying that inner voice, you will label your growth as, "Oh, it's too hard." And you allow your insecurities to speak louder than your spirit. And you'll let excuses silence your evolution and your elevation. Y'all do not understand, too. Silence is a spiritual healing mechanism. You can use it as a spiritual cleanse, just sitting in quiet. A lot of people used to be like, well, monks, why they just sit and be quiet? Because it's a spiritual connecting to God. Just sitting and getting rid of your stinking thinking, your negative voice. That's the only way you're gonna even be able to retrain your mind. Sit in the stillness. I want y'all to understand silence is not empty. Silence is medicine. Because if you listen to that inner voice, you will heal some things that are hurting you. You will also identify the root and realize that it might be just time to let that go. I'm going to tell y'all too. Silence heals what talking keeps reopening. Instead of, that's what, when, I don't know if anybody in here if you've lost your mother, because today is the anniversary of my mother having a stroke. When she passed away, I asked people, could you just treat me regular and not ask me what happened? Why did I ask people to stop doing that? Because every time I would have to talk about the fact that when I walked up to her house and I looked through the window and I saw her collapse to the floor, I will not even live in a place that has Venetian blinds. I won't do it. Because when I looked through the blinds, she was a collapse to the floor. I was so a nervous wreck that I kicked the door off of the hinges to get in there to her. I refuse to let people keep asking me to relive it, keep reliving it, keep reopen it, because sometimes you can't heal from something if you keep reliving it, keep reliving it, keep reliving it. So I'll say it again. Sometimes silence heals with talking keeps reopening. You won't allow, you are literally allowing yourself to keep taking the scab off of a wound. So you got to say, I am going to take back my power of silence. And silence also restores what chaos breaks. And silence reveals what noise keeps hiding from you. Why do I like to get up early in the morning? Because I live down in the city. I can walk out and it's just nothing but quiet. And then when I see the sun start to peek through and start to rise, I can literally sit there and just be quiet. Because sometimes quiet is just being. I'll say it again. Silence reveals what noise keeps hiding. Some wounds can only heal in the quiet. Some clarity only comes when the world is muted. Some guidance only arrives when you stop explaining and start listening. I want y'all to start using silence as your surgical room, where God repairs what your mouth keeps interrupting. When you stop speaking and start hearing what hurts, what needs to be released, what needs to be healed, what boundaries need to be set, when and what and who needs to be forgiven, and what needs to go, and what needs to stay, and what God has been trying to deliver to you. I'm telling y'all, silence is not a punishment. And I know we used to think that when we was little, when they would tell you to stand in a corner and be quiet. Why do you think they told us to do that? You get in that corner, you need to reflect on what you did. But we're not children anymore. Silence is no longer a punishment. It is spiritual recovery, it is emotional reset, and it is a divine alignment. Another time, too, being silent helps you get rid of the noise of negativity. Negative thoughts are loud, they are intrusive. They grow because you keep hosting them. You keep replaying them like a broken record. And let me tell y'all something. Host is the right word because you've been feeding them like a malignant sore on your life. You keep feeding them like they're the guest of honor. You've been feeding them self-doubt. You feed them procrastination. You feed them insecurities. You feed them fear. You feed them comparison. You feed them overthinking. You feed them people pleasing. Baby, that negative voice be up in there getting it. You kept that negative voice alive. All because you wouldn't just be quiet. You no longer give it power. I don't even subscribe to you. What are you talking about? I don't even see you. I want y'all to treat that loud negative voice like that heifer you couldn't stand in high school. I want you to treat that negative voice Like that heifer you couldn't stand in high school. Mhm. It's time for you to starve your stinking thinking all with peace, with quiet. And I also want y'all to understand too that is quiet is the probiotic of positivity. Why do I say that? It is the probiotic of positivity. If you notice, after you do a cleanse, the first thing they ask is for you to take a probiotic to restore gut balance. Silence does that. It restores you. After you strip out all the negative thoughts, after you get rid of all of the negative people, you must replace it with pro voices, pro confirmations. I am amazing. I am a six-figure earner. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am kind. I have abundance. I have overflow. I normalize 10K days. I normalize millions of dollars. I normalize happiness. I normalize greatness. I normalize wealth, overflow, increase. I normalize these things. So you need to, when you take away those negative voices, you need to come back and add a pro voice, like a probiotic, a voice that champions you, a voice that expects good things, a voice that welcomes abundance, a voice that remembers your worth. See, that negative voice, like, who you think you are. See, that positive voice gonna say everything, everything. That voice is gonna speak life. That voice will speak life. That voice will believe in you. That voice will believe that you deserve joy. And some of you haven't been happy, truly happy, for a long time, that you don't even recognize unhappiness. Because a lot of times too, we've been in a situation so long that we grow comfortable. That's why negative thinking had an ability to grow and fester. Let me tell you something. Negative thinking cannot stand you being happy. A negative thought cannot thrive in a happy mind. Why? Because if I have a happy mind, a negative thought, child, you done came in the wrong room, baby. You need to exit stage right. You in the wrong room. I want y'all to understand that negativity grew because it was the only guest that you kept feeding and serving. But now it's time to kick that negative voice out. Stop hosting negativity parties. Every time you re-record, you keep on rerunning it, doing the reruns in your mind. The negative thoughts. It's time to kick them thoughts out. Now, like I said, stop hosting negativity parties. Ask yourself this. If you were an employer, would you hire your old mindset or your current mindset, or would you fire it? If you were an employer, would you hire your negative mindset and your negative words, or would you fire it? It's time for you to hand your old mindset a pink slip. Stop entertaining it. Stop feeding it. Stop returning to it. Stop allowing it to dominate your decisions. You can't build a new life with an old mind. I'll say it again. You cannot build a new life with an old mind, especially an old mind that does not serve you well. Your best life is a gift. I want you to wrap it up like one. Every day that you get is a gift. But I wanted you to ask yourself, how do you wrap it? Do you wrap it in fear, stress, worry, emotional clutter, old stories, other people's drama? Or are you saying this is a new day that I am grateful for? Because, see, a lot of times our words and actions are contradictory. If I ask most people, what are you grateful for? I'm grateful for a new day. But as soon as you do that, then you will deal with fear and stress and worry, emotional clutter. You will run back old stories, and then you will deal with other people's drama. So are you really grateful for a new day? Are you really using it for your greater good, or are you wasting it? So it's time to change and realize that I got another day of life and I'm going to use it as the gift that it is, and I'm going to wrap it in gratitude, self-respect, joy, peace, abundance, hope, happiness, clarity, good decisions, strong boundaries. I am going to change how I wrap my gift of life. Let me tell y'all something. How many people that ever got a gift wrapped at Macy's? Baby, when I tell you them gifts be wraps to the gods, you hear me? I want y'all to start doing that. Your life deserves luxury wrapping paper, not the emotional clearance rack. It's time for you all to let's do the rebirth. Now, y'all, we're 31 days away from a new year. Really 30. Well, this is kind of early. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give us 31 days. We're getting a new year and a new you for real this time. Because I know everybody, new year, new me. Don't lie this year. Yeah, I said it. Don't lie this year. 2026 is around the corner. And we not doing the new year same mess. We not going to drag our own mindset into our new season. A rebirth is going to require a release. You're going to have to let some habits go, some people go, some time wasters. You're going to have to let some things go. You cannot transform while you stay loyal to a version of yourself that shrinks you, that settles, that apologizes, that hosts negativity and enjoys fear. I need y'all to reflect on 2025, and I want y'all to say what worked, what didn't, what drained you, what disappointed you, what shifted you, and what elevated you. The things that didn't serve you well, it's time to let them go. Like my granny used to say, turn and go. You need to turn it go. The things that served you well, it's time to rinse and repeat. It's time to 10x. And if did nothing serve you well, you got go child, use your copay, lay on the couch. Because if did nothing go good or did nothing serve you well in 2025, first of all, did you identify the desires of your heart? You ask not, you have not because you ask not. Did you ask big? I taught y'all that. You do not ask small. Ask God big. I'll be like, I literally sitting there working it out. I said, God, I need to normalize 10K days. That's $3.65 million for 2026. Yeah, that's what I asked for. I asked big. Again, the things that serve you, rinse and repeat, 10x it. The things that did not, the things, the people, the situations, the choices, the decisions that did not serve you, it's time for you to let it go. You're going to have a funeral service for the old you. You're going to have a funeral service for the old mindset. And I'm going to tell y'all, it ain't just you. It's some stuff that I'm having a funeral for. I literally was in here last night with tears in my eyes because I'm having to do a whole change and go walk into unfamiliar territories. But I had to move, I got to move away from my comfort zone. God is calling me into unfamiliar waters. And when she calls, you have to go. And yeah, I said she. A lot of people like, how you gonna call God a she? Because she is the only one can give birth. So y'all not gonna convince me that it's a she. E. Sorry. She calls and I have to go. I'm gonna have to go scared. I'm gonna have to go unsure. I might even be trembling, but I'm going to be obedient. Yes, sometimes change is scary, but a lot of times change is good. And I want y'all to look at this, and this is a horrible analogy. So go ahead on and brace yourself. I want y'all to treat the way you have been thinking in the past, any stinking thinking. I want you to think it about, I want you to look at it like somebody told you that you had to wear the same pair of drawers for the rest of 2025. If I told, I don't have to tell you to change your drawers. You wouldn't wear the same drawers for the whole month. But some of y'all have been wearing the same drawers all year. It's time to change your drawers in 2026. I said it. It's time for y'all to change y'all drawers in 2026. Now, a lot of people think silence is scary or it's emptiness, but silence is not emptiness. Silence is alignment, it is clarity, it is obedience, sometimes it's protection, it's transformation. Your power is not always in your voice. Sometimes it's in your quiet. So, our rich girl affirmations, I want you all to say these out loud this week. I choose silence that heals and elevates me. My quiet is powerful, protected, and intentional. I listen clearly to God, my intuition, and my purpose. I stop hosting negativity. It has no home in me. My mind is a sanctuary, not a battlefield. So don't be out there playing Pat Benatar. Love is a battlefield. Your mind is no longer a battlefield. Quiet your mind, quiet your thoughts. I release the old me and I welcome my rebirth. My peace is sacred and I guard it as well. My silence is a spiritual healer, guiding me toward abundance. I am becoming the happiest, clearest, and most aligned version of myself. I create the life I desire with intention, clarity, and stillness. Now, your rich girl assignment. I want you to start having you a quiet hour. And this is the thing, you can start with like 10 minutes a day and then amp it up. Gradually get up to your 1 hour day of silence. What that's me. No phone, no music, no distractions, no TV, no streaming. Just sit and just breathe. I have been starting to do this where because my shoulders get so heavy because I have so much on me and responsible for a lot of things, right? So now before I even start my scripting, I just sit for 10 minutes and I just breathe. Because a lot of times we get through the day, we be going so busy and going so hard, we forget to even breathe. Then I want you to do a silence cleanse. I want you to identify one negative thought you've been hosting. I want you to write it down, and then I want you to write the positive probiotic that you're going to use to replace it. Oh, this is too hard. You're going to replace it with, yes, I can, and I will, and it is done. And then actually go do it. Oh, I'm going to show this negative. Okay, I told y'all I was going to work on this mouth. It's atrocious. But you're going to write a positive probiotic that will replace that old negative voice. The next thing is I want you to do some inner voice listening. I want you to ask yourself, what have I been avoiding hearing? And this is the time for you to be truthful. This your little pad and paper, or this your journal. So just write what you've been truly avoiding. Then I want you to do a release ritual. I want you to write down one thing or two or three. It's up to you because this your life, sugar bear. And I want you to have a funeral for me. I want you to write it down. I want you to tear the pages out. I want you to tear it up. And then I want you to throw it in the trash. I want you to release it. And then the next thing is I want you to write a paragraph that describes the version of you that you plan to step into in 2025. I want you to act brand new, like it's a brand new outfit. I want you to act like it's the first day of school and you about to win best dress. I want you to write a paragraph describing the version of you that you're stepping in 2026. And I want you to write it in present tense like you're already her. And that is your rich girl assignment. We getting ready to wrap this one up. All right, babies.